Hard evidence, not just trusting the regime will do the right thing. America's top diplomat says North Korea's denuclearization must be verified given the distrust that has built up over the years. John Bolton says any further testing would harden the softer US stance on the North. Find us, mostly an unwanted guest from overseas. New government research shows up to 80% of ultrafine dust in Seoul originates from overseas. Of that total, around a third blows in from China. Plus, Kazakhstan's president of nearly 3 decades is resigning. He admits the decision to step down was not an easy one. Our top story this morning, US President Donald Trump's top national security aide is warning North Korea that a resumption of nuclear missile testing would impact the administration's future policies toward the North. Our Kim Hyo-sun starts us off.
White House National Security Advisor John Bolton admits a new missile or nuclear test by North Korea would have a, quote, real impact on President Trump. Speaking with Fox Business Network on Tuesday, he explained that President Trump has said he would be very, very disappointed if the North resumes testing. Bolton also quoted Trump as saying it was a commitment North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made several times. This is interpreted as a warning that the North's threat to restart nuclear and missile tests could bring about changes in the Trump administration's North Korean policies. Bolton, who has long held hawkish views on North Korea, also said the regime will be granted a bright economic future once it abandons its weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missiles. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has once again stressed the need for verifiable measures for the complete denuclearization of North Korea. Speaking with local media in Kansas on Tuesday, Pompeo said it's time the North Korean leader show action, considering the distrust between Washington and Pyongyang. Such a remark is a reaffirmation of another interview during which he said the U.S. has strong intentions to hold dialogue with the North, only under the precondition that the regime moves first with verifiable steps for denuclearization. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
Now, North Korea and the United States have been going toe-to-toe over the issue of sanctions at the UN's HQ in Geneva. The North insists there's no justification for the sanctions remaining in place. Lee Seung-jae with the details.
At a UN disarmament conference in Geneva on Tuesday, the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Arms Control, Verification and Compliance said the only way for North Korea to achieve security and development is to abandon all of its weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missile programs. She also urged countries to halt any weapons or military cooperation with the regime.
Our stance is unwavering with regard to North Korea. North Korea must understand that the only way to achieve the security and development that it seeks is to abandon all of its weapons of mass destruction, all of its ballistic missile programs, as numerous UN Security Council resolutions demand, as numerous UN Security Council resolutions demand.
In response, North Korea said there were no legitimate reasons to maintain sanctions on the regime since it has not conducted any weapons tests for well over a year.
The U.S. publicly recognized the DPRK has discontinued the nuclear test and rocket launch for the past 15 months. However, it does nothing to remove the U.S. sanctions as corresponding measures. Instead, they came up with a preposterous argument that sanction relief is impossible prior to denuclearization. We found that the U.S. calculation quite odd, and such gangster-like position doubtlessly will drive the situation in danger.
He added the U.S. had promised to take corresponding measures during their first summit in Singapore. Instead, according to Ju, President Trump came up with what he called a preposterous argument that sanctions relief is impossible prior to denuclearization. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
South Korea and Russia have been sharing their evaluations on the latest developments surrounding the Korean Peninsula post-Hanoi summit. Seoul Special Representative for Korea Peninsula Peace and Security Affairs Lee Do-hoon met with Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister in St. Petersburg on Tuesday. They discussed denuclearization, achieving lasting peace in the region and maintaining close cooperation. Lee will be in Brussels for the next couple of days to attend a session of the EU's Political and Security Committee. North Korea's ambassadors to China, Russia and the UN have returned to Pyongyang, prompting speculation the regime may be reviewing its nuclear negotiation strategies with the US following the Hanoi summit. According to a source, the envoys, along with other North Korean diplomats, were seen at Beijing's Capital International Airport. The source said their return could also be linked to an annual meeting of overseas diplomatic mission chiefs. Now, President Moon Jae-in is going to be briefed by his top economic policymaker very shortly. Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Hong Nam-gi will sit down with the President to discuss the current state of the economy and ways to try at least to turn it around. After having toured 3 ASEAN nations last week, the President's focus this week seems to be at home, including the high jobless rate and struggling manufacturing sector. So, after a week away on that diplomatic tour, President Moon is refocusing his attention on some pending issues at home. Speaking on the current difficult economic situation here in South Korea, he pointed to signs of improvement, but admitted a number of sectors are still struggling. Shin Se-min with the details.
A reality check by the president on the economy. President Moon Jae-in during a weekly meeting said that with a gloomy outlook for the global economy, Korea is extremely vulnerable. Despite some positive signs in certain sectors, the president singled out manufacturing, Korea's economic foundation, and admitted that efforts by the administration, like the regulatory sandbox and smart cities, have done little to help revive that industry.
세계 경제의 둔화로 세계 제조업 경기 전반이 어려워진 영향도 있으나 그렇다고 외부 탓으로만 돌릴 일이 아닙니다. 우리 제조업의 경쟁력이 낮아지고 있는 것이 문제입니다. 제조업의 활력을 살리는 것이 우리 경제를 살리는 길입니다.
The president then ordered additional measures customized for different industries to help drive sales of electric and fuel cell vehicles and help local car makers and their respective suppliers. The president also called for efforts to boost non-memory semiconductors. This, he said, would help balance out development in both conventional and innovative manufacturing. Also during the meeting, the cabinet approved another pressing issue facing the nation, public spending to help create jobs and boost innovation-led growth, a program that will reduce the tax burden on the working class. It'll also make it easier for companies to get tax credits if they employ women who had previously quit their jobs because of maternity and marriage. The finance ministry expects that with the change, spending in that area could reach some $41.8 billion this year, up from $37 billion last year. With the government giving the okay to spending on job creation and innovation, the hope is to not only alleviate the burden on many workers, but also to bring back stay-at-home moms back to the workplaces and eventually improve the working conditions for many Koreans. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
It's been more than 3 months since Hong Nam-gi became South Korea's finance minister, so we thought we'd take a look back at what he has accomplished thus far and the challenges that lie ahead. Kim Hae-sung reports.
March 19, 2019 marks the 100th day since Finance Minister Hong Nam-gi took office last December. Goals at the top of his agenda have been boosting economic vitality, strengthening socio-economic inclusiveness, and pushing for innovative growth. In February, the government finalized changes to the Minimum Wage Commission, having representatives from labor management, the public, and the government to make sure future wage changes are more acceptable to the market. The minimum wage in the country has gone up by double digits in 2018 and 2019 to $7.40 an hour.
The finance minister has addressed concerns from the self-employed and the corporate sector, from the way the minimum wage is calculated to flexible work under the 52-hour work week. He's shown a strong determination to communicate with various parties to reach a consensus.
Minister Hong Nam-gi continued the government's expansionary fiscal policy by making 23 projects worth $21 billion exempt from preliminary government economic assessments, meaning they can be carried out faster. The government also helped broker an agreement on a so-called Gwangju model for jobs, a manufacturing joint venture between the Gwangju city government and Hyundai Motor to set up a new auto factory. But job growth remains sluggish. In February, the number of new jobs added bounced back to the 200,000 level, but many were public sector jobs for the elderly. Higher quality manufacturing jobs for those in their 30s and 40s decreased.
Unemployment and the wealth gap are still very high. The government has been spending more to boost growth on the back of its huge tax revenues, but it's important where it is used. Government construction projects won't help the economy in the long run. So-called innovative growth plans, like hydrogen economy, need to be fleshed out in more detail for them to be feasible.
With the global slowdown weighing on Korea's exports, the key driver of the local economy, experts say, on top of expansionary fiscal policy, structural reform and deregulation need to gain pace this year to create sustainable growth. Kim Hae-sung, Arirang News.
After falling for 4 months in a row, producer prices in South Korea rose slightly last month. The Bank of Korea says the production price index, a barometer of future consumer inflation, edged up 0.1% on month in February. The central bank says higher services prices and industrial goods prices, like global oil prices and raw materials, offset lower agricultural and electronics goods prices. Now, it has been said that Seoul is tied with New York City when it comes to being one of the world's most expensive cities to live in. The latest worldwide cost of living report by the Economist Intelligence Unit, which uses over 400 prices, including food and drink, showed the South Korean capital edged down 1 spot from 2017 to 7th, equal with the Big Apple and Copenhagen. The report says Seoul has the highest bread prices in the entire world. 3 cities were jointly the most expensive cities in the world: Paris, Hong Kong and Singapore. Now, in world news, Kazakhstan's president has unexpectedly resigned after nearly 30 years in power. He's on his way out, but he'll still retain considerable sway over the Central Asian nation's political system. Noah Ram with the details.
Nursultan Nazarbayev did not provide any specific reason for the abrupt decision, only saying it was a difficult one to make.
Dear Kazakhs, co-citizens and supporters, I'm addressing you today, as I've always done in the most important moments in the history of our state, which we are building together. But my address today is special. I made an uneasy decision to step down as President of the Republic of Kazakhstan.
The 78-year-old is the only man to lead Kazakhstan since the country emerged from the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s. Despite his resignation, he will retain much of his power and influence as the head of the governing party and by holding key posts in Kazakhstan's military. He also keeps the official title of the leader of the nation. Therefore, although his resignation comes as a surprise, it doesn't necessarily mean a major policy shift, as he would still hold considerable sway over the country's politics. Although he has been widely popular for maintaining stability and ethnic peace in Kazakhstan, he has faced criticism for suppressing dissent and sidelining the opposition. Critics have also accused him of corruption and widespread human rights abuses. The Speaker of the Upper House of Parliament will take over as Kazakhstan's acting president for the remainder of Nazarbayev's term, which ends in April next year. A presidential election is scheduled for next year, but Nazarbayev will likely handpick his successor and make sure that person gets elected. Noah Ram, Arirang News.
The EU's chief Brexit negotiator says the UK must offer something new in order for the EU to accept any delay to Brexit. His comments come as British Prime Minister Theresa May is scheduled to request an extension, noting the EU wants a new proposal. Michel Barnier said a second referendum or a general election could be reasons to authorise a delay. He ruled out the possibility of May asking for a short extension while seeking a longer one as a backup. May will attend an EU summit in Brussels on Thursday. All 27 EU members have to agree to an extension for it to get the green light. An American professor has become the first woman to be awarded one of the world's most prestigious mathematics awards. Karen Uhlenbeck, professor at the University of Texas at Austin, was awarded the Abel Prize, seen as the Nobel Prize in mathematics. The jury in Norway cited the impact of her work on analysis, geometry and mathematical physics. The Abel Prize was first given out in 2003. Now, the South Korean government says most of the fine dust particles choking Seoul originate from overseas. The research released on Wednesday found up to 80% of ultrafine dust comes from other countries, with most blowing in between November and April. Over the last 5 years, around 30% of fine dust came from China. Up to 45% of ultrafine dust is produced here in South Korea, with Gyeongsang-namdo province generating the most. The officials also discussed new technologies aimed at protecting the public against the dust. South Korea's National Assembly kicked off its first interpellation session of the year on Tuesday. Lawmakers are grilling top government officials on a whole range of topics, from political matters and foreign affairs to the economy. Kim Min-ji reports.
On the first day of the National Assembly's interpellation session on Tuesday, opposition lawmakers were more than ready to criticize the government. Pointing to the drop in the Moon Jae-in administration's approval ratings, they said that the public are beginning to realize what they claim is the government's incompetence.
The people now know that the government is standing on the side of North Korea, which has no intention of denuclearizing. It's also compromising the country's security by disarming the joint security area in the DMZ. There's been poor vetting of candidates for top government posts and excessive hikes in the minimum wage, not to mention the ethical issues surrounding members of the ruling party.
Ruling party lawmakers used their turn at the podium to highlight Seoul's increased role diplomatically in light of the no-deal Hanoi summit, stressing the need for another round of inter-Korean talks to find a breakthrough.
The situation after the summit breakdown is quite serious. Do you have any plans to send a special envoy to North Korea?
I do see the need, but we have no such plans at the moment. There will have to be discussions before that happens, but nothing is happening yet.
Rival parties, however, were united in calling for all-out efforts to find the truth about recent allegations involving K-pop celebrities, rape and drugs, and cozy ties with law enforcement. They also called for a thorough reinvestigation into a 2013 sex scandal believed to involve influential figures from the government, politics, and business. The government vowed to leave no stones unturned. Rival parties have 3 more Q&A sessions that will run through this week. The ruling party will likely defend the government's policies and highlight its achievements, while the opposition parties will try to make an impression by pointing out any shortcomings. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
South Korea's Ministers of Justice and Interior and Safety gave an unscheduled joint press conference on Tuesday to address a series of high-profile sex scandals that have rocked South Korea. They promised a thorough investigation and vowed to throw the book at those found guilty of wrongdoings. Che Xiong reports.
The Justice Minister and the Interior and Safety Minister have stressed that they will run thorough probes into several high-profile alleged sex crimes. Justice Minister Park Sang-gi said he will do what he can to reveal the truth about a sex bribery scandal involving a former Deputy Justice Minister who is alleged to have drugged and raped women several years ago. In 2013, police said they identified the former minister in a sex video, but the prosecutors cleared him, saying they couldn't identify the man in the video. Since 2017, a special committee launched by the Justice Ministry has been studying the sex bribery case. But many people voiced concerns about whether it can really reveal the truth.
The prosecutors will pick up the case if any violations of the law come up during the probe.
The Justice Minister also promised a comprehensive probe of another sex scandal where high-profile figures, executives at conglomerates, broadcast stations, and entertainment agencies were accused in 2009 of having sexually assaulted an actress. Meanwhile, Minister of Interior and Safety Kim Boo-kyum said he will direct the country's police agency to thoroughly investigate the K-pop sex scandal. Police are currently looking into whether K-pop star Seungri solicited prostitutes for his business partners at the Burning Sun nightclub in Seoul.
The police will exhaust all avenues to investigate the case at hand.
On Monday, President Moon was briefed on the probe by the two ministers. He told them to run a full investigation as to leave no doubts or suspicions behind. Choi Seong, Arirang News.
A nationwide fire drill will be carried out on this Wednesday, which is also the Civil Defense Training Day here in South Korea. The 20-minute drill starting at 2 p.m. Korea time with a siren will be held as part of measures to prevent large fires that occur most frequently during this time of the year. The Minister of the Interior and Safety has stressed the importance of holding continued and repeated fire drills going forward. Two duty-free store operators, Etas Duty Free and SM Duty Free, have been shortlisted for the first ever arrival terminal stores at Incheon International Airport. The airport's operator says the Korea Customs Service will evaluate the bids and notify the successful bidder. 3 shops are scheduled to open in Terminals 1 and 2. This is in the arrival halls of those terminals by May to alleviate the convenience of tourists having to travel with duty-free goods and to boost domestic spending. Time now for our weather update. We have our Lee Ji-hyun outside in southeastern Seoul for us today. Ji-hyun, you are by a famous lake here in Seoul that's known for its beautiful cherry blossoms. I'm not an expert on the seasons there, but I assume you're still a little bit too early for that.
Good morning and hello again. Well, right now I am at Seokchon Lake in Songpa-gu district in Seoul. And as Mark said, yes, I am too early or a bit early for that handsome cherry blossom. But for the heads up, Seokchon Lake's famous cherry blossom festival will kick off on April 5th. So please mark that on your calendar. Meanwhile, Jeju Island and Busan are already seeing the start of that beautiful cherry blossom thanks to the warmer than average temperatures we had lately. But as for here in the capital, we'll have to wait until the first week of April to see that pretty sight. And things are not looking too pretty as for today's conditions, as many of us in Korea are choking under toxic smog again. An ultrafine dust advisory was issued a couple of hours ago here in Seoul, while alerts are in place for some southern provinces as well. And the alerts could expand it to more areas as the day goes on, so please have a face mask handy. But thankfully, we have welcome rain on the way. The entire nation will see showers this afternoon, starting in the western regions before spreading to the rest of the country. 30 to 80 millimeters are expected for southern coastal regions and up to 60 millimeters for most areas heading into tomorrow morning. And there could also be some thunder and lightning at times. Well, morning lows kicked off a lot milder than yesterday, but it is still feeling quite chilly. But highs will go as high as yesterday. And on Friday, we are expecting another brief sprinkle snap. And daily highs for today will get up to 16 to 23 degrees Celsius in many parts of the country. Seoul will reach 17 degrees Celsius, while Daegu and Gyeongju will have mid-April-like temperatures this afternoon. Now be sure to have your face mask handy until that welcome rain washes away all the dust in the air. And that's all for me at this hour.
Well, thank you very much, Jihyun, for that wonderful report as ever. Yes, it's funny. We all like a big bout of rain these days due to its air cleaning qualities, and hopefully the air is better for the cherry blossom season, which Jihyun just mentioned will be coming in early April here in Seoul. It really is a beautiful time of the year. Well, that's where we're going to leave it for now. Do stay tuned to us here on Arirang TV, and a reminder that we're going to have our next newscast. That's coming up at noon Korea time with our very own Lee Ji-yoon. So until then, goodbye.
New Arirang. Arirang TV has prepared a new lineup of programs. 5-project renewal plan. The eyes of the world are on the Korean Peninsula. Diverse news and current affairs programs will keep you up to date on issues concerning the Korean Peninsula and Northeast Asia. K-pop alone cannot define Hallyu. Arirang presents a wide range of shows about Korean food, beauty, fashion, and travel, captivating the eyes of viewers around the world. How are you preparing yourself for the 4th Industrial Revolution? Stay in the loop on the latest technological advancements, trends, and future outlook viewed from various angles. We introduce how people in various parts of the globe share and promote coexistence through international cooperation. As an international broadcaster, Arirang TV launches campaigns to promote universal human values, find solutions to social conflicts, and protect public interests around the globe. New Arirang for the world. World on Arirang.
쉬지 않고 빛났던 꿈 같은 my youth. 안녕하세요. Hello.
I feel observed.
Very mysterious. 누구 안 나오죠? 무섭게 하는 게 아니죠.
시작하는 거죠? 그냥 말하면 되는 거죠?
카메라 롤. 갈게요. 하나, 둘, 셋.
헬로, 안녕하세요 여러분. 라라란다에서 온 라라입니다.
안녕하세요. 중국에서 온 저사입니다. 반갑습니다.
My name's Alex. I'm from the United States and I've been in Korea for almost 9 years now.
I work in
Oh yeah, and I do YouTube.
YouTube. I like traveling. I haven't been traveling that much lately, but I love learning about addition. So I like making a place more beautiful than it already is by filming and editing and putting it up in the internet.
I go back to Shanghai and work as a TV producer for like at least 1 year, maybe 2 years, and gain enough experience and come to South Korea. And right now, I'm a YouTuber in South Korea. I'm sort of like reaching my dreams right now. Yay!
And I run a channel where I basically go around Korea and try things, travel, and just enjoy life.
I'm actually surprised y'all made it, so I'm really happy.
Oh, to be honest, like even though I live in South Korea about like 2 years, 2.5 I think, but I never get a chance to travel. And I was like, you know, there's so many wonderful things in South Korea. I want to go there. I want to part of like, you know, those like communities. And then I saw like there's a program is going to happen in Arirang TV. And I was like, I'm gonna apply it for sure. Cause I was like, that gonna be so cool.
I feel that probably my subscribers would love to see that part of Korea as well. Basically because I have half of my subscribers are Korean, but also half of them are Spanish speakers, English speakers, and everywhere in the world. So I think they would really like to see Korea.
I didn't really know exactly what to expect. It's Mystery Traveler. It's like, am I the mystery? Am I going with a mysterious person? Is it just throwing me in some place and like, go find something kind of mystery? Is it, I have no idea.
Getting so nervous. Okay.
I'm really good at tests that don't matter.
Oh, that's Dongdaemun DDP. 김치무? What is that? Pass. 닭발. The stoneman in Jeju-do. 삼계탕. Oh, that's my favorite on Cheonan. Is that hangam?
깍두기. Oh, that's the Korean traditional way of wrapping up, but I don't know the name. 닭발. Very beautiful man in a rock. 삼계탕.
남대문? 호리과자. That's in there. 심사인당. DE. 닭발. 각두기. The Dongdaemun Design Plaza.
이모 여기 2명이요.
여기요, 이모. 서주 한 잔 더, 아니 서주 3병 더 주세요. Probably something like that.
사모님, 제가 달아드릴까요?
다시 지어주세요.
네, 이렇게 찬.
사장님, 저 소주 한 잔 따라 드릴게요. 네, 네. 수고하셨습니다. 네, 열심히 할게요. 네.
I win? Really?
I promise with all my heart I will do all the missions.
Oh my god. Oh, there's a photo of me.
But I don't like my face so close.
Your mission is only one.
Create your own Korean traveling routes.
Let all global viewers know about your unique routes. Okay.
Let's go. When do we start?
Man, this is quite a climb, you know.
Okay. Alright. Oh, my knee.
Ooh, that's pretty. I like this. Nice. Ooh, the bed is comfy. Well, the bed is kind of comfy. I mean, you can sleep in there.
와, 나 드디어 왔다. I'm finally here. Okay, let's. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, I have half bagel left. Save it for the later.
Pichu. I have a lot of stuff. See? My talgi. This is my strawberry. So flowers, a lot of flowers. I'm very girly, you will see I'm very girly. More flowers, there's these, and more clothes, lots of coffee. This is a coffee from Honduras. Human eyes. It's candy. It's actually candy from Spain. Oopsie. So that maybe we can have it together. In a house, I'm more like a mother. If we have someone in our house, we have to always offer food and drinks and snacks at all times.
First of all, my poop and my eyeshadows, highlights, eyebrows, my life, my pretty purse. Well, to be honest, I never ever used to put on a lot of makeup on my face before I came here. But after I came here, it was like I was trying, those makeups are not very expensive, which are pretty affordable, and I started to get into there. I think one of the travel, I think it's a she, right? I don't know who she is, but I'm really super looking forward for it. But before that, I need my image, control. That's what Korean people usually say.
right, here we go. Hey, not bad. All right. It's bigger than I thought it would be, but a little bit white. Needs a little bit more color, but I'll take it. All right. Got my, socks, don't need that. University hat, gotta bring that. Represent. It's me, my brother, my sister. I'm the cute one. Yep, cameraman's nodding his head. I'm definitely the cute one. Then the family one. Let's over here. There we go. I got time. I got one Korean book. Gotta get at least one of these in here. Otherwise, I won't study. Make that. I don't know how many are coming, but it'd be cool if the ratio of female to male was a little bit nicer on my side.
I like this. As well. Is there? Oh. Who just texted me? Mystery host. Oh. Oh my god, there's gonna be friends? What?
All right, zoom. See who's here.
So outside, okay.
What? Hey, you!
Hey, you!
What are you doing here?
What the heck?
Yes, you brought Alex. Thank you so much.
Dude, she didn't even tell me that she was applying.
Complicated words, and I'll be like,
He's gonna do it one time, right?
oh, nice.
That is not her.
You can travel with him, you can do stuff with him, he will always most likely agree, and he will always be cool with it. So, thank you. So we're gonna have a great time! Oh my god!
Oh, this is gonna be sweet. Oh. Wait, oh, we got someone else!
Oh! Ooh. Hi!
안녕하세요!
Wow!
Hi, Alex.
Nice to meet Alex. Sherry.
Don't trust him, he's a he's a
You know each other? Wait a second.
Yeah, we know each other.
It's not a team game, sorry.
Okay.
No, like, oh, good over.
Girls can be a team actually sometimes. Lara or Lara?
Lara. Lara.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Lara.
Well, Lara, she's so pretty. Oh my god, I'm jealous and so skinny. You know, like the perfect Korean beauty standard. I know like 7 Alexes, so.
Yeah, but this is the only one that matters.
I know.
Right?
I think they're a totally cool person, and I feel like I can get along with them. Phew, very released.
You guys ready?
Yes, so ready for it.
Boom. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Which direction?
Which direction? Let's go to my house. Let's go to my house.
Let's go. Come on, Alex.
My house is cool though.
All right, but basically our house looks the same. So.
Cheers, everyone.
Ganbei.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you
to
guys.
meet you.
Wait. I see the habit.
Nice to meet
Nice to meet you too.
Not nice to meet you.
Nice to see you again.
Fried chicken. Yeah. Korean fried chicken is the best.
Yeah.
Mine's like huge.
How is that cute?
Can I change it?
You touched it.
Delicious.
I'm sorry.
But that's a good one. That's got all the meat on the outside.
So Alex, I've known you about a year, but I don't think, have we traveled ever with Korean bros?
We traveled separately.
So what do you like to do when you travel?
For me, I like to not have a plan, like a definite plan. I need to make sure that there's a lot of like free time for kind of randomness to happen. Like I hate the vacations where it's like, okay, 4 o'clock we got to be here. 4:30 we've got to be here. If we don't, we're not going to get an Instagram selfie. I hate that stuff. What about you guys?
What about you?
For me, I was like, if I want to travel, I don't want to go with myself. You know, I always want to, like, with some friends or some stuff. Maybe I was like a little bit too picky, but somehow, And but
I mean, now you're stuck with us.
really-
You can't be picky.
Sorry, girl. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, for me, I want if I go someplace, I don't usually take a lot of pictures. Yes, I don't.
I don't take pictures because I like to enjoy the moment. And
So how do we find out where we're going?
I don't know, maybe ask them, probably.
Is there a script?
Are you gonna tell us?
Is there trees?
Are there trees?
I don't know.
The entire Korean country has trees.
Not everywhere. Maybe we're going
They
to
have a
Busan.
tree. Is it really far away from here? I think it's not that far.
Is it south? North.
The north.
It's north. Okay.
It's north.
Is it near North Korea? Oh wait, she's serious.
Oh my god.
Do I need like camo clothes?
Do I need like running shoes?
Do I need the ID or certification? Yes or no?
Yes.
Why these if we go to the actual border? Is it the border?
Is it the border?
I want the front seat.
Oh my god! Wait!
Oh. 안녕하세요, 라라랜드 알렉스입니다. 반갑습니다. Oh my god.
Hey, what's up?
Hello. It's too early for me to be on the move.
오늘은 우리 뭐 하는지 알고 있나요? What are we doing, Lara?
We are not sure. Because they didn't say. They didn't say. Where are we going? We're just like in a car. My mom always told me never get in a car with strangers and not knowing where the hell you're going.
But that's exactly what you're doing right now.
Exactly.
통일. This is like something about 통일.
통일? Isn't that unification something?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a lookout post right there?
That's a pose for the police.
Those are the military stations or something. What? Oh my god.
Where did you go? You pay.
What this is?
Hey guys, I'm pretty sure we're getting closer to the DMZ to the
Exactly.
Is it? Is it?
Once that moment, I realized we're going to DMZ, and I know we are going to get the chance to see what North Korea really looks like, which makes me feel really pumped.
I never thought I would be here. I never thought I would come here, to be honest. I didn't think I could come. As in, I didn't think I was allowed to come here.
Are we close? Close?
I think we're very close.
거의 다 왔어요. Ah, okay.
자, 저희는 지금 도착했는데요. 근데 그 여권은 보여줘야 되는데. There's hot
English a little
군인.
bit.
Hot 군인. Gonna check my
I need
ID.
the Korean validate. Maybe I won't come back though.
저희 6명이요.
Oh. Am I gonna sing in North? No.
I have mixed feelings about that. Knowing that they're there and they're risking their lives on the border and they're protecting us is really good, but having borders reminds you that we're not entirely free, whichever direction you're going.
You good?
Maybe.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Wow. Ow.
Ooh,
Pure fresh air, that's for sure.
Hey, it does mean sun.
Oh.
Like mountain, I mean. I don't know what Dora means.
And
they have Chinese characters as well.
Dora, 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 la exploradora.
Dora.
Yeah, that's appropriate. I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
I'm teasing you.
I mean, I also have a kabang, like Dora the Explorer, so yeah.
Are we going to doing something?
Why is this like a subway station?
Dude, it says co-rail.
Why is there so silent and there's no one in here? It looks like this kind of movies, you know, when suddenly a zombie comes out.
Oh, the Busan-hae? I know that.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
So this place is the, let's see, wait, there says something there.
Check this out. Oh.
We're close enough that they have military people here watching us, and there's areas we're not allowed to film. So be careful about that.
Platform. Can I film this? Because I want
Oh yeah, you can film that.
The most impressive part, I think, is to realize they're so close and yet so far away. Not by means of transport, but somehow by the culture, it is still separated. It made me feel a little bit in shock and a little bit sad at the same time.
So now when we go in here, oh my gosh, there's someone working.
Someone
really?
works actually here?
Yeah.
Are they really going to sell some tickets?
That's
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
입장권인데요.
아.
플랫폼 들어가는 겁니다.
그러면 티켓.
네, 한 장에 1,000원씩이고요.
티켓 3장 주세요.
3장 드릴까요? 아니요.
Oh, we're gonna get
자, 이건
tickets.
입장권이고요.
아,
이거는 이제 기념 스탬프 찍는 거거든요. 옆에서 보면은 스탬프 두 종류니까요. 네모 동그라미 2장 찍으시면 됩니다.
네.
감사합니다.
네, 옆에서 찍으시면 되고요. 네, 만원 받으십니다.
네.
Oh, check this out. This is the ticket?
Yeah.
오른쪽에서 찍으시면 되고요.
네. 7,000원 주십시오. 7,000원 주십시오. 7,000원 주십시오.
Are you asking for money?
You're cheap.
Is it this one?
It's
the same thing?
This is a circle one. Okay.
Let me put my thing.
Oh, there's two, that's why.
There's
Gotcha.
two.
Okay, so this goes here. 이쁘게 나와라. Please come out good.
Please.
Oh, you got
I
it too.
like that. Oh, this is so pretty. So it's like spine thingy is breaking into birds.
Yeah.
So like for peace
Peaceful,
and bird
yeah.
and freedom. Just make sure it's
No.
up.
And be patient. And 천천히, take it slow.
Well, then let me in the middle. Let me in the middle. I'm down. The pressure's on, okay?
Okay, come on. No
Everyone
pressure.
Stop kidding.
God, they're awful. Still horrible human being. All right.
100%.
Oh,
That's much better.
nice. Okay. Alex always does a good job.
Okay, we spent a lot of time like stamping. Can we go in now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's go. Oh,
Boom.
they don't have.
All right. So, Pyeongyang platform. Come on, guys.
Wait for me.
All right, here we go.
Whoa. So where's North Korea? Where does this lead to? What the? Oh my God! This is so cool.
Cool? Was it cool? No, I think the first reaction is that's cool. It's almost like a forbidden fruit. Like, I saw something I'm not supposed to see. Oh, can we actually film here?
Can we film here?
You're not allowed to film this side?
저기요. 그 죄송한데요. 촬영하고 싶은데 어디로 찍으면 돼요?
저쪽 방향으로 찍으면 돼요, 찍어요.
아,
여기.
이쪽이랑
그쪽은 서울 쪽이요?
저쪽은요? 아, 저쪽도 안 돼.
카메라를 들고 가시면 안 돼요. 안 돼.
안 돼. 내려가면 안 된대.
What is it? 필수.
Oh my God, that's North Korean flags.
Bye, bye.
Now, a glimpse into your everyday life.
Artists are often called magicians of color. Here's an artist who adds stories to color and takes it to the screen.
I always wanted to be a storyteller, which will move people, make them think positively about their lives, about possibilities in their lives. I'd like to do stories which are in some way empowering to people. That would be the aim. Film is a storytelling medium, so you actually absolutely have to have a gripping story. And I'd rather be remembered for my films than for myself. and I would just hope that the films that I make resonate enough with audiences. It reminded me of Vincent said, "Who am I in the eyes of most people? A nobody, a non-entity, an unimportant person. Then one day I would like to show by my work what this nobody has in his heart."
Storyteller and filmmaker Hugh Welchman sets off on a spring trip in Korea. Gwangyang in Jeollanam-do province is located on the south coast of Korea. Hugh Welchman, resembling Vincent van Gogh in a way, is visiting Gwangyang on a spring day.
Hi, I'm Hugh Welchman. I'm the producer, writer and director of the film Loving Vincent. Loving Vincent was a project that I made with my wife Dorota Kobiela. We made it together over the course of 7 years. It's bringing the paintings of Vincent van Gogh to life to tell his very tumultuous and tragic yet uplifting story.
Spring is in full swing in the Samjingang River area. Every small living creature in nature is art.
Then I think it's incredibly important to have art which represents nature. So I'm all for people painting the beauty of nature. Wow, it's really, really so beautiful. Try not to compete with the bee, but really amazing. You can see why Vincent was so obsessed with new growth and why it's such an important part of so many cultures. It's really brings you fresh life when you can smell the fresh blossom and bask in such a beautiful spring morning. I'm so happy to be here in Korea, and what a lovely start to my journey to be experiencing the spring blossom.
Korea's beautiful spring welcomes the traveler. Hugh likes to learn about new cultures from arts and stories. What brought him to Korea this time?
I'm very interested in Korea as a culture. It's a very ancient culture, a very sophisticated culture. So there's obviously a deep connection between South Koreans and Vincent van Gogh. So I was interested to come and maybe dig into that and try and work out why there's this passion for Vincent in South Korea.
Hugh takes a walk to get a good view of the Samjingang River. He comes across an interesting sight.
It was a lovely sight to see an artist working with his two daughters and them also painting in such a beautiful spot. It was a really peaceful sight. This is a very beautiful spot that you've picked to do your drawing. Is there any special reason that you chose this place other than it's beautiful?
이 섬진강 근처에서 저희 가족이 살고 있기 때문에 가끔가다 이렇게 봄이 되면 섬진강에 와서 딸아이들과 함께 스케치도 하고요. 우리 한국 사람들에게도 이 매화라고 하는 것과 꽃이라고 하는 것은 새로운 생명, 새롭게 이렇게 시작되는 어떤 느낌 이런 것들이 또 활력을 주는 것 같고요. 특히 그 중에서 매화는 첫 번째로 겨울을 이겨내고 피는 꽃이라고 해서 많은 사람들이 봄을 찾아서 이곳에 찾아오고 있습니다.
I think that Vincent van Gogh would have very much liked that story because, you know, when he was painting the blossoming fruit trees in the south of France, it was very much about having survived the winter and having survived the depression that he felt in the winter. So he would love the story of the plum tree never dying in winter and coming out in beautiful flowers in the spring.
The Samjingang River and stories it hold inspire writer Oh Chi-kun and his family.
And I really was very interested in the journey that he did together with his daughter. Not only was he teaching her art, he was also teaching her storytelling, teaching her about her local area.
The writer focuses on the stories of the river.
우리 큰딸이 초등학교 1학년 때부터 섬진강 처음부터 끝까지 여행을 하면서 만든 그림책이 있습니다. 섬진강 그림 여행이고요. 이렇게 섬진강은 이런 전설이 있어요. 두꺼비가 진을 쳐서 나라를 쳐들어오는 왜구들을 막았다. 그런 어떤 전설이 있어서 두꺼비 섬자 나루 진자를 써가지고 섬진강이라는 이름이 붙여졌습니다. 그래서 여행을 하다 보니까 곳곳에 사람들이 만들어 놓은 전설에 대한 이야기들이 많이 있어요. 뭐 도깨비의 이야기라든지 아니면 이렇게 선녀가 신성과 함께 논일다가 하늘로 올라갔다고 해서 사선대라고 하는 곳이 있고요. 은별이가 이렇게 선녀와 좀 이렇게 왜소하지만 돌을 닦은 도인들을 그림으로 그렸어요.
His children naturally became local storytellers.
I think it's very important for children to be exposed to nature for many reasons. I mean, one is that actually I would hope that his daughter will feel more confident and grounded and rooted to her surroundings by the experience of having gone out and being taught about the significance of the areas. And okay, head a little bit forward. Yeah. Look at camera.
Hugh will always remember this encounter with the writer and his children.
Thank you.
They will come to mind first whenever he thinks about the Samjingang River.
I love the army of toads who are going to like save you from the Japanese. I thought that was a really fun image, and so I found it very fascinating, and I think those myths should definitely be preserved. And
Hugh wants to hear more stories about this place from Oh Chi-kun.
이게 섬진강이라고 하는 곳인데 섬진강은 두꺼비에 대한 전설, 설화가 많아요. 예전에 이제 처녀가 호르몬이를 모시고 살았었는데 그 두꺼비가 집으로 들어와서 이 두꺼비를 한 3년 정도 키워주게 됐죠. 그러다가 이제 섬진강에 홍수가 났어요. 홍수가 나가지고 처녀가 이제 죽게 될 위기에 처해 있는데 이 두꺼비가 나타나서 이 처녀를 살려주게 됩니다. 그리고 처녀는 살게 되고 두꺼비는 죽게 되었는데 이 두꺼비의 제사를 처녀가 지내주게 되면서 이곳에 섬진강의 섬진이라고 하는 전설이 내려오게 됐죠.
Hugh learns a lesson from the ancient tale.
You know, there was the poor girl who her good heart and her caring heart led to her being saved when maybe others weren't. So that was the moral of that story.
Every spring, Pyeongyang is awash in plum blossoms, which are symbolic flowers in Korea.
옛날에 선비들은 이런 그 매화가 피는 날을 찾아서 매화꽃을 그리기도 하고 또 시를 짓기도 하고 그러면서 매화를 탐했던 선비들이 많죠. 지혜와 덕목을 갖춘 사람이 굉장히 좋아했던 꽃 중에 하나입니다. 빈센트 반 고흐도 이 매화 같은 향기를 가진 화가이지 않을까라는 생각을 해보네요.
Also, having done Loving Vincent, I do strongly associate spring with the blossoming of fruit trees, because that was such an important part of Vincent's work in If Vincent had known about the story of the plum blossom, he would have latched onto it and really liked this story of a resilient plant that had weathered any winter and still could come out bursting with life, colourful life, after that tough, harsh experience. It obviously symbolises that people have managed to get through the winter, and that, you know, better times are coming, spring is coming. So yeah, I think it's a very powerful symbol, and I'm very pleased to be here and see at least some of these trees in beautiful blossom, and I'm sure in a couple of weeks it will be an amazing experience.
Oh Chi-kun presents the traveler with a special gift.
선물입니다.
Oh wow, 감사합니다. Oh, that's great. So it looks just like
매화와 섬진강.
I'll find a lovely place for it. This one painting was meant to symbolize that life goes on and that maybe the future can be better. Well, this will always remind me of my time in Korea, and I will hang it up on my wall. So thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a really lovely trip.
Today's experience will translate into an artistic inspiration for Hugh. For Hugh, traveling is a search for stories of people's lives, and stories serve as a material for his movies. What will Hugh hear in this tranquil village on a rainy day? Unjoru is a traditional aristocratic house that was built in 1776. On a rainy day, the scenery is like a painting.
When we visited Unjoru, it was very appropriate because the whole house was surrounded by mist and all the mountains were covered in cloud, and I learned that the name of the house is the bird that hides in the cloud. So it felt like we were encapsulated inside the cloud. And
built on a propitious site, Unjoru has been home to many generations over the past 3 centuries.
안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요. 어서 오세요.
My goodness, what are you ladies doing? You look like you've been busy.
이거는 메주라고 부르는 건데요. 이 메주가 이제 잘 말라고 곰팡이가 잘 펴서 이제 좋게 됐거든요. 이제 그 또 새로 먹을 그 메주 가지고 이제 된장, 간장 만들려고 메주 닦고 있네요.
Just as their ancestors did, they use a traditional method to make fermented bean paste.
메주를 음력 10월 달이나 동기달이라는 거 11월 달이거든. 그때 메주를 써서 띄워갖고 이제 봄에 지금 담을 때예요. 저런 옹기 그릇에다가 담으면 군액이 있어갖고 숨을 쉰대. 그런 게 장이 맛있대요. 된장도 맛있고.
She says that it's rewarding to have jars full of fermented bean paste. Hugh is curious to learn about the Korean traditional lifestyle firsthand.
Can I try some? Yeah. Wow, good. Very salty though. So yeah.
쌈싸 먹는 거 좋아해. 한국 사람은 된장이 씨한데.
한국 사람 된장이 세야죠.
Yeah, let's try some of this. Wow, it's good. It's very strong. Strong taste, strong smell, pungent, but very nice. Yeah, okay, good.
The host shows Hugh around.
여기는 호랭뼈가 있어요. 호랭 머리.
Tiger bones?
옛날에 우리 할아버지께서 저 호랭이를 잡았대요.
You have tiger bones
네.
above your door?
어느
Why?
아, 이제 호랑이 뼈는 그 작게 들지 말라고 걸어놓는데요. 이제 호랑이가 그 무서운 짐승이잖아요. 그래서 이제 작기를 막는 거고 채를 걸어놓기도 해요. 이제 채는 그 구멍이 많거든요. 그래서 그 구멍을 귀신이 구멍이 몇 개인가 세다가 날이 샌대요. 그래서 이제 그러한 것들이 벽사 의미를 갖고 있어요.
This old house has many stories to tell. And one episode proves how special this house is.
이게 쌀통인데 여기를 열고 쌀을 이거 타프 하나 부숴놓고 이거 딱 세 통 잠가놓고 요리 조금씩 내다 먹으라고. 이제 배고픈 사람 골고루 먹으라고. 옛날에는 배고픈 사람이 많아. 굶어 죽은 사람도 있고 부항 난 사람도 있고 그러니까 굶어 죽지 말고 부항 안 나게 여기서 조금씩 내다 먹으라고. 이거 다 먹고 없으면 여기서 또 퍼다에다 부숴놓고 채워놓고 그래. 요거 쌀 두지. 요거 20가마니가 들어가.
Everyone's welcome to take what they need for themselves. So any positive examples of redistribution of wealth and making sure the poorest and the most vulnerable people in society are looked after is a good thing.
Stories like this inspire artists regardless of culture and era. This is the reason Hugh likes stories.
I'm interested in how stories can help push our society into positive directions. And, you know, that's what I think the value of stories are. And myths and fairy tales are the ones that have shown that they have persisted over time up to, you know, several thousand years in some cases.
The world is full of stories. Everything that happens in life can become a special memory and an unforgettable story. Finding new stories in new places and recreating those tales in art. That's what moves people's hearts. How will his travels in Korea inspire him? And how will he express them in his works? Next, Hugh visits a village in gov't that has a community of artists.
Well, I mean, you know, this town is in a very beautiful location. It's incredibly quiet, but so contemplative, you know, which must be good if you're an artist to have such a peaceful environment.
This village was founded in 2008 by painters, sculptors, and photographers. It is now home to about 30 artists. Every Saturday, the village offers hands-on creative programs to visitors.
Obviously, that idea of getting our artistic community together worked very well in this instance. And as you probably know, this is something that Vincent van Gogh wanted to do in his lifetime. So there's some interesting architecture here. And then, yeah, we're sitting in a garden with some very nice sculptures. I really like the sculptures they've got a nice tactile feel to them. They're very kind of substantial, and they're very simple but very striking.
While strolling through the village, Hugh spots something interesting.
Okay, this time I get to look inside the window. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
How are you? I really like your sculptures, they're really nice.
Sculptor Lee Chun-suk makes mandarin ducks, which have a similar symbolic meaning as parakeets do in Western culture.
원앙이 부부 금슬 좋게 한다고 하잖아요. 아들, 딸들 결혼할 때 선물하고 그를 저기로 했거든요.
Hugh decides to join in.
So this is actually the first time that I have touched clay since I was 15, because my mum was a sculptor and she was always trying to get me to do sculpture and pottery when I was a kid. But actually I'm quite enjoying this, so it's like quite fun to get my hands dirty again.
Working with clay brings back memories of his childhood.
And one of my earliest memories is when I was about 3 years old, and we had a room in a farm, and one of the fields on that farm always had a whole field of swans, so all you could see was swans. That all of those experiences kind of go inside you, and then I think that comes out in my work now as a filmmaker, you know, so, and yeah, well, you know, it's not the greatest swan in the world, but you can see it's a swan, yeah.
His childhood experiences come back in the form of art. This time, he heads to a gallery located at the center of the village. It plays the role of a communal room.
Well, you know, I mean, one of the biggest compulsions for humans to do art was because of their love and appreciation of the world around them, of the natural world around them.
The owner of the gallery is an oil painter, like Vincent van Gogh.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
Please carry on.
아, 예.
Artist Son Han-hee combines various colors to create her own.
Well, I mean, the great thing about oil painting is that it's one of the most sophisticated mediums for expressing yourself of any art form ever invented.
Every spring, Son Han-hee paints the Samjingang River.
섬진강에 보면 잔잔하고 아주 조용하면서도 굉장히 뭐랄까 환희로운 좋죠. 겨우내 아주 이렇게 움츠렸던 모든 생물을 깨우는 모든 일이 다 일어나고 있는 자연 현상이 다 일어나고 있는 거예요.
What does Hugh think of the painting?
For me, this painting is quite nostalgic, so you have a new spirit of new life coming with the new year. In nature there is love, and a connection to nature is very important for all humans. And what art do you do? Are you a painter or? You're a painter? You're all painters. Oh, good. And it's always interesting to go to places where you have a community of artists and to see what it means to them and how it encourages people to maybe be more. How useful is that to each of you as artists? I mean, does it help you in your own individual artistic endeavour?
자기 스튜디오를 개방을 해가지고 자기 것도 보여주고 또 다른 사람 것도 또 보고 그리고 자기가 자기 작품에 대한 생각을 많이 하는 거죠. 그리고 또 이게 외부와의 소통도 잘 되고.
자연적이고 친화적인 이런 좋은 환경에서 우리가 할 수 있는 건 굉장히 행복으로 느끼고 있습니다.
Artists who pursue similar dreams come together, share the same food, and motivate each other.
Okay, is it properly mixed? Can I eat?
This is probably the kind of community of artists that Van Gogh wanted to create in his lifetime.
Very good. Delicious.
What's a party without some liquor?
구례 막걸리.
Korean 막걸리. 막걸리. Okay.
막걸리는 라이스 쌀로 누룩과 같이 섞어갖고 발효시킨 그 술이에요.
위하여.
Yeah.
For health.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, people seem very relaxed and very happy. The people who live here, no one's going to think they're crazy for pursuing the dream of being an artist because everyone here is pursuing that dream. So there's solidarity in all these people trying to fulfill their dreams.
A timeless story crosses his mind, Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. He gazes up at the night sky. Yellow blossoms along the Samjingang River welcome Hugh. Every spring, this village is blanketed in yellow dogwood blossoms.
So Sansu-yu town was definitely a highlight of the trip. There are these very spindly, very ethereal little flowers, and when you see them on these trees, they look like they can float away because they're so light, but when you see them en masse, it's like these sort of very light clouds of yellow lining the hillside. It's a very beautiful sight.
The trees that decorate this village look wild and unattended to, but in fact, they all have an owner.
I mean, it's lovely to be so high up in the mountains. It was very inspiring to hear about the university berries, that these trees now turn out to be so valuable to the farmers here. 안녕하세요. Oh my goodness, what are you doing here? Wow, these are pretty flowers. What's that? You're picking something?
이거 이렇게 생겨도 아주 이거 효자나무예요. 왜냐하면 이 열매 열어서 따서 보약으로 들어가고 또 이 꽃이 요때 아주 피어서 요건 산수유 꽃은 한 번 피면은 약 40일 갑니다. 이 꽃이 한 번 피면. 그리고 이 꽃 한 숭어리에 15개까지 열매가 붙은 거예요. 열매가 지금. 겁나게 많죠. 그렇게 많이 수확을 한다. 그래서 이것이 옛날에는 대학나무다. 요 한 나무만 가지면은 대학교까지 보낸다. 그렇게 소득이 많은 나무다. 이 산수유 나무가. 그게 열매를 요걸 따가지고 이거 하나 맛보시오.
I eat it? Yeah.
맛있는가 어때나?
Okay. It's a bit like cranberries.
쓰면서 답답하면서 개미가 있는 거예요. 그렇죠?
I have another one? Why not? It's good for my health, yeah? Yellow is a very important colour for me because, you know, it's really the colour that most symbolises Van Gogh. In his work, he was getting these intense colours, and in his imagination, this was kind of the sunshine and the colours of Asia.
Spring also comes in a cup of fragrant tea with a drop of yellow blossoms.
Very pleased to have a sansuyu flower in my tea. So yeah, it's traditional and beautiful, and makes my tea aesthetically a little more pleasing. Korea is one of the most ancient cultures in the world. Has been one of the most sophisticated cultures over the longest period of time. So there's just a huge depth for Korean filmmakers to explore.
This village